everyone. Welcome to Loud and Local. I'm Megan, and I'm pleased to welcome to the studio Mark Dearborn of Mirror Lake. Mirror Lake? Mirror
Yes.
Lake. You're from Mirror Lake,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Not specifically,
Not specifically,
in
but
that general area.
in your
yeah.
local,
Yeah.
sense.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I feel like I need to share with the audience too. I was thinking about this when we talked, and I was going to have you here on the show, and I started trying to think back to when I first met you. I think I was 13, 14?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 20 years ago.
Okay. Do you remember? Do you remember what we played? What the song was? You played flute. I played guitar.
Oh, wasn't it a Beatles song?
No.
No. I can't remember.
El Condor Pasa.
El Condor Pasa. Oh, yes. Okay. Yep, I remember now.
Was that for a funeral or?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you. Yeah, you don't really remember.
But I
much.
met you so much longer before that. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like anytime I've seen you in that gag 20 years, it's been you've either been holding a hammer or a guitar.
Well, I don't hold hammers anymore.
You don't? Oh.
Little tiny tack hammers
Yeah.
for working on.
Yes, because you repair instruments
yes,
now.
yes.
Yeah. So how long have you been playing music? When did you start? When did you get bitten by the bug? 7?
I was 7, and I learned how to play a little ditty called Little Brown Jug on a tenor banjo and a tenor guitar, which are 4-string instruments.
Wow.
And we had them up in the attic, and they were small, so I said, I can play those.
Right.
And my dad showed me 3 chords, and I played that for a while, and then, I never forgot it. I'd pick it up every now and then, and, I'd have him tune it, until I learned how to tune it, but I'd play it, and then I didn't really play anything too much until probably around 11. Then I got into electric guitar. My brother had gone off in the service and was in the Navy out in the Pacific, and he left behind an electric guitar and an amplifier, which I was up in the attic. I was up in the attic trying to go. Now, how does Jimmy make that sound? You get right in front of the amplifier. And you go, oh, that's. And so they got me an acoustic guitar for Christmas. So.
Middle ground between
Yes.
banjo and.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've been playing banjo and guitar and.
That's my first instruments were tenor banjo and tenor guitar at 7,
Wow.
but only one song.
Right.
I never really went past the one song.
But you have a banjo here tonight. And
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to play just Little Brown Jug? Is that the plan? Or?
No, I don't think I will. I mean, I'll show you the chords that I first learned.
Right.
Perhaps, but I think I'll do something that's music appropriate for it.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll skip to another instrument, which is like the tenor guitar, which is in the late 1920s when the sliding popularity of Dixieland was happening. All the guys that played banjo had all of this great talent, but they didn't have an instrument to play after that, and so instrument makers started making guitars, because the next craze was, the jazz could be played on the guitar and not sound like Dixieland anymore.
Right.
And so they could use all their chops, all their skills, and so I happened to get, it's around a 1930 tenor guitar that I'm not sure who made it. It could possibly be a Stromberg. It's possible that it's a little later than that, and it's a K, but it's got a really nice sound. And
Wow, cool.
found it on eBay. The price was right.
Nice.
So.
Okay, so you said tenor banjo, tenor guitar,
Yep.
and banjo,
Yep.
and electric guitar. So between all of those, what were your musical influences growing up that kept you going with music?
I liked Johnny Cash. I liked Creedence Clearwater Revival. My brother, what I had said when he went off in the service and left the guitar behind, he also left albums of the Ventures, who were just a musical, electric musical group.
Right.
And there was a play along with the Ventures albums. There were 1 or 2 of them, I forget. and it had slowed down. You didn't have to like put it on a slow speed. It just had a slow speed on one part. They'd
Right.
make sure you tuned it properly. Follow this now, and then they would play. And so I learned things like Secret Agent Man, A Taste of Honey,
Right.
stuff like that, and
Nice.
didn't really get into it. You know, I played it, said okay, well,
Right. I didn't even realize they made that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah, I wish I
you know,
had
sort of
them
like the
today,
learn to
just
play
because it'd
along
be.
kind of thing, as opposed to like just getting a set of chords and learning it that way. You know.
You know, my handicap at the time was there was really no really good guitar players anywhere around that I know. I mean, within my scope of
People.
people,
Yeah.
it was my dad played regular country and bluegrass and western style stuff, and
Which obviously
and-
with the Johnny Cash you carried with
yeah,
you.
I like that, you know, and but I really had a thirst for something different, something more. So I sat down with albums and just. I wish there was YouTube. If I was a child today, because I remember,
It's true.
I remember almost everything I learned through, you know, my 20s and 30s, from my teens. You know, it just and now I have to practice and practice and practice and practice a new song, even if it's one that I've written. You go, oh, just can't get in there. You know,
Right.
you know, so if now I'd be just a total
Right.
unbelievable library of music, because I just love everything anyway.
You'd be your own YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I always see you on Facebook posting all different types of music videos
Country,
and whatnot.
bluegrass,
Yeah.
rock and roll, jazz, Zydeco.
And what do you like to play most right now?
I really don't have anything in particular.
Yeah.
I have been playing, trying to play songs that I know, but I just have never really learned before. And I'm getting into stuff like Funiculi, Funicula, and just different challenging music. And I have a violin player friend that I was hoping to have come on here with me, but when we moved it ahead a month,
Right.
that didn't happen.
Well,
so
you know, the best part about this, we can always schedule you again.
that would be fun. And when I play with him, I like doing the 20s and 30s and 40s swing and jazz.
Oh, yes.
Um,
Love that genre.
I just love the swing style stuff. I love to play that on the guitar.
Absolutely.
Just because it's so free.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
I find that at 56, you know, arthritis starts getting in, and it's really hard to play quickly on some things. But chordally, I'm better now than I probably ever was as far as
Right.
playing chords. So jazz lets you be completely free, and that's what
Right.
I like about it. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So I'm curious. So you say now you repair musical instruments and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Coolest instrument you've gotten your hands on?
Coolest one I've ever played, probably, though I never worked on it, because the owner that has it works on his own instruments, which is okay, is an early mid-30s Gibson All-American banjo, one of the original 7 that were built, and it's a tenor banjo.
7? There were only 7 that were built?
Yeah, they're pretty rare.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much they're worth, but they're worth a lot of money. That would be like the coolest banjo. You know, I've played some pre-war Martin guitars, a couple in my hands that are just like, you cannot believe. You walk away going, oh my God. You know, you just get this sense. You know, if you really love instruments and music like I do, you just get this sense of, I can't believe that.
Wow.
So I looked, I've been, you know, I've had some really nice, you know, $20,000, $30,000 violins in my hands. I haven't worked on them. I've mainly worked on stuff that's under 20 grand.
Right.
But I have a lot of nice.
Is there a reason for that? Like liability issues?
There just aren't that many
I know.
around here in this area, really. I haven't come. I'm sure there probably are in people's collections.
Right.
Or they have them at their house, and they, you know, I did have a Gibson mandolin come by me that this guy brought it in to my shop, and when I opened the case, he said, "There's a little problem with the instrument seemed to have picked up a lot of the dust or fuzz from the inside of the case. So I opened it, and it looked like it was carpeted in the blue fuzz that was felt it was on the inside. It had been in an attic, and had over the years had
the heat
and the cold and everything had just like swelled, gotten soft, soaked up all of it, and then shrunk away. And just the thing was carpeted.
Wow.
The neck didn't have too much on it, a little bit on the headstock, but the back and the top were, the back was completely carpeted. The sides were mostly carpeted. The top was partially carpeted, and it was like, you know, it's never going to sound good with all of that, you know, shag rug on it there. So I very carefully softened the finish and removed what I could of it, and then I let it set back up. When when the finish had reset after a few days, then I gently abraded it with some real fine sandpaper, and then when I got most of that, then I softened it again and started picking. And you got so that there were a few there. If you take a magnifying glass, you could see a few still that got laid down in, but most of them I got to stand up and got them sheared off, and so you can't really see them. The original finish looks untouched, and the mandolin sounded, it hadn't been played in 70 or whatever years. It was, and it was, I think, about a 1920 or 1918, somewhere in that range. And the guy that owns it has another one that I'd love to see someday. Hopefully he'll bring it in. But
that must be such a fun challenge for you. Like when people bring these, like, you know, what, near-death instruments to you, if you will, and you're able to just sort of just tackle it and bring them back to life. That's awesome.
I sometimes kid with them afterwards that it'd be like, you know, it'd be nice if you just forgot that it was ready and don't come get it.
I'm really proud of this.
I'm enjoying playing this. You go out in the morning and you tune it up and you strum it and you go,
yeah, so how much of it is it you fixing and how much of you just, you know, playing in your shop?
Well, my boss is really friendly and doesn't mind one bit if I take a break. And if people come over to the shop and they want to play music or visit, you know, that's okay too. If I'm really busy, I'll be cranky, but say, I can't right now.
Yeah.
But
I want
generally,
to, but I can't.
Generally, my boss says, okay, go ahead.
Right.
You know.
That's awesome. So tonight you are taking us on a musical journey, you said?
Yeah, well, I have a half an hour, so it's a short trip.
Yeah.
But,
really? I feel like you could fit a lot in.
Yeah, I could do, like, ditties, you know.
You could, yeah.
I probably won't, but I've got, like, 8 songs on a list.
Excellent.
Just so, you know, in case I couldn't remember what it was that I wanted to sing.
Right. Well, don't tell anyone. We don't want to.
No,
we don't want to give it all away.
I may do something completely different between here and the chair.
Yeah. Oh, the suspense. Oh, the suspense. Well, I have to be honest. I've always thoroughly enjoyed being at any gathering where I've been hanging out with you and listening to you play. Like, I think the first time I met you, you were playing music at a party. So.
Probably.
Yeah. So I'm excited to share you with everybody here.
Well.
You ready to play? You ready to go on this journey? I'm ready to go on the journey with you, so.
I'm excited to find out what I'm going to do.
Yeah, so am I. All right, everybody, here is Mark Dearborn.
Okay, this is the first song called Big Time Woman. I actually heard it first on a Leon Redbone album and loved it right away. With a sparkling dress, the diamond brocade on her chest. She's a big time woman from way out west. Automobiles and a cozy home, but you always see her all alone. She's a big time woman from way out west. On a western street, New York men all look the same. She keep damn asking the same darn things all over again. Every fella has a winning smile, but she treats them all just like a child. She's a big time woman from way out west. Street, New York men all look the same. She keeps them asking the same darn things all over again. Every fella has a winning smile, but she treats them all just like a child. She's a big time woman from way out west. So that's the kind of music that you would generally hear on an instrument like this. Sometimes wood just doesn't want to cooperate, you know. It feels the warmth of your body and just goes, oh, I'm going to change right now.
Right.
Thank you. This one is a little finicky as well. Though banjos shouldn't be, they can be as well. So this is a Jesse Winchester song called Nothing But a Breeze. Life is just too short for some folks. For other folks it just drags on. Some folks like to taste a smoky whiskey, others figure tea's too strong. I'm the kind of guy who likes to ride the middle. I don't like this bouncing back and forth. Yeah, I want to live with my feet in Dixie, my head in the cool blue north. Then we'll do just as we please. Life ain't nothing but a breeze. In a small suburban garden, not a single person knows our name. Baby wishes we would move somewhere the houses aren't all the same. She said, I wish you'd take me where the grass is greener. I'm not really sure what that may be. Someplace high on a mountaintop or down by the deep blue sea. And then we'll do just as we please. Life ain't nothing but a breeze. Someday I'll be an old great-grandpa. All the pretty girls will call me sir. Now where they're asking me how things are, soon they'll ask me how things were. I don't mind being an old great-grandpa as long as you be my great-grandma. I suggest we take our tea and cookies to the shade of the old pawpaw. Then we'll do just as we please. Life ain't nothing but a breeze. So this is about a 1930 tenor guitar, solid mahogany, back and side spruce top. A lot of fun. Maybe she wants to stay in tune now.
Maybe you should behave.
Maybe. This is a guitar that I got. If you want to start, or are you just running anyway?
Yep.
Okay. This is a guitar that I got off of online, not eBay. And cost $105. Had a great big Grinch type of smile right here. It pushed down inside about 3/4 of an inch, and I pushed it back up in place and fixed it. And this is my main beater axe. You know, goes everywhere, does everything. I've had it now for 3 years or so, and 3.5 years. And I don't care how ugly it is. It's got a nice sound. So here's a song by Fats Waller. To talk with, all by myself. No one to walk with, I'm happy on a shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. I know for certain the one I love. I'm through with flirting, just you I'm dreaming of. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, I don't stay out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. I don't stay out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. Nice little jazz progression that I'm going to take some of that and use it on this next song. A song by Steve Goodman, who wrote The City of New Orleans and such wonderful songs like that, but he also wrote a lot of humorous songs. And this is one. Well, friend, you never guess it. I might as well confess it, I just met the sweetest woman of my long dismal life. And a friend of mine says, buddy, in case your mind is muddy, don't you know that girl you're talking to is Peg Leg Johnson's wife? That man is big and ugly, he's mean and grim. He's gonna kick your butt with his artificial limb. The next morning bright and early I ran off with Peg Leg's girlie, but I also took his wooden leg just to play it safe. But there weren't no time for laughter, cause he started hopping after, and I keep on running faster, he won't give up the chase. And I'm running around the mountain with his bride, and I got that molten thing here by my side. I'm a three-legged man with a two-legged woman, being chased around the country by a one-legged fool. He's a hopping and a flopping, and he showed no sign of stopping. And I'll tell you boys, his life is hard and cruel. From the mountains and valleys, across the dark Chicago alleys, from the Rocky Mountain waters to the hills of Caroline. in and out of Pennsylvania, and up and down the Allegheny. Every time I turn around, he's just 1 foot behind. And I know he's getting tired and wet and sick. In spite of all his problems, he can't kick. I'm a three-legged man with a two-legged woman, being chased around the country by one-legged fool. He's hopping and a-flopping and he showed no sign of stopping. And I'll tell you boys, his life is hard and cruel. He must be ragged and filthy by now, and I'm feeling sort of guilty since that morning last week when I heard him plead and beg. He said, in spite of all your stealing, I don't bear you any hard feelings. I know Margie doesn't love me, but give me back my leg. 'Cause although the leg you meant to take was wooden, in the dark there by mistake you took my good one. And I'm a three-legged man with a two-legged woman, being chased around the country by one-legged fool. He's hopping and a-flopping and he showed no sign of stopping. I'll tell you boys, it's life. I'll tell you boys, it's life. I'll tell you boys, his life's hard and cruel. Hopefully you don't know anybody like that. So I'm going to do a couple of numbers. I have enough time, I hope. These are songs that I wrote. I lived in Budapest, Hungary for 3.5 years, and probably wrote more songs there than anywhere other place that I've lived at. I've got lots of partial songs that I'm working on here that I just can't seem to get them to do what I want them to. And this is one that I wrote that I guess it came out at a time that politically I was just wondering what all the fuss was about. And after going over in Eastern Europe and seeing just how bad the rest of the world is, the way that people have to live. And so I wrote this, I guess here in New Hampshire we're fairly isolated and insulated from a lot of this stuff. Our northern border is not like being attacked and crossed daily, or at least if it is, it's probably people hunting moose, So this is called Ignorance. Janie came to me looking for advice. I'm afraid she was turned away. Drive-by shooting took her brother's life. The whole neighborhood blown away. Isn't there something we can do to lend a helping hand? It's not my problem anyway. Jose came to me looking for a job. I'm afraid he was turned away. Just a little work to feed his family. Ah, but what would the neighbors say? Isn't there some of his own kind who can lend a helping hand? It's not my problem anyway. Monica came to me, thin and frail. A mortar took away her whole life. Just a little peace and some dignity, a shelter from this civil war and strife. Well, aren't the Europeans taking care of that today. It's not my problem anyway. The EC, what do they mean to you and me? NATO, just a hole in the ground that we throw our dough. The UN stands around with their fingers in the budget. Who's in charge? Tell me, what's their job? Saw a young black man on the TV today. Had to turn and walk away. All my life I've seen those images, and all our lives nothing's changed. I wrote this next one here, and if you look it up in the dictionary, cambric tea, I never knew this until recently, was such a thing. My grandmother always fed it to us, and we thought she made it up. On the farm in Maine, there were no stores, and they didn't have a place to buy tea, so they couldn't grow it, obviously, up here in the north. So they made tea, which was milk and hot water and sugar. And she fed it to all us kids, and we all just loved it. And we'd go to her house and be, Gram, make us cambric tea. So I had this conversation with her a year and a half, 2 years before she died. And now I had certainly talked with her lots, but I was sitting in the house with my newborn baby in my hands, my first child, Annie. And she was just really got into nostalgia and talking about all the stuff, and their house had just gotten finished and had only tar paper on the walls or the outside when the '38 hurricane hit. And nobody around here knew what the heck it was, other than it blew down most of the trees and tipped over stuff and threw it and scattered it everywhere. So, but she had read a book that had a hurricane in it, and she goes, you know, I think that might have been a hurricane. So the name of this is Cambric Tea. Followed the work to build a school, decided to stay and rented the old Howe place, bought a piece of land and a stand of pines, hauled them by horse and cart to the sawdom mill. Fine houses built by honest hands, barely finished when the big wind came. It shook the foundation and knocked down trees, the likes of that they had never seen. Cambric tea and old photographs, the smell of a time and things that are past. 38 it was, she read it in a book, gave it a name, hurricane. A carpenter by trade, musician for fun. He never took to drink, although he smoked some. She didn't like it and told him so. Accompanied him on guitar and piano. Cambric tea and old photographs, the smell of a time and things that are past. Everyone in town attended the Grange Hall. lined up in pairs for the square dancer's call. 5 children, 7 mouths to feed. They worked the land and they hunted out of need. Never went hungry, they sometimes had treats. There was always music and promises to keep. Cambric tea and old photographs, the heavenly smell of the boiling sap, frigid nights and the melting days, February to March when the syrup was made. Now she's alone, the old man has passed on. She can tell you tales about 40 years ago, a keen wisdom lacking in hate, some regrets, few complaints, cambric tea and old photographs, the smell of a time and things that are past, flower gardens and fox traps, the violin played the Johnson rag. Violin played the Johnson rag. This is a song by Townes Van Zandt. The name she gave was Caroline, daughter of a miner, and her ways were free, and it seemed to me the sunshine walked beside her. Come down from Spencer, across the hills, she said her pa had sent her, 'cause the cold was low and soon the snow would turn those skies to winter. She said she'd come to look for work. She was not seeking favors for a dime a day and a place to stay. She turned those hands to labor. The times are hard, Lord, and jobs are few all through Tecumseh Valley. Well, she asked around, and the job she found tending bar Gypsy Sally. She saved enough to get back home when spring replaced the winter, but her dreams were denied. Her pa had died. The word came down from Spencer. So she took to walking the streets at night with all the lust inside her. And it was many men returned again to lay himself beside her. They found her down beneath the stairs that led to Gypsy Sally's. In her hand when she died was a note that cried, fare you well to Conso Valley. The name she gave was Caroline, daughter of a miner, and her ways were free, and it seemed to me that sunshine walked beside her. That's just to bum all you folks out who are sick of winter. This is the shortest country song I've ever heard.
Mark, thank you so much for coming to hang out on the show.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you being here. Will you come back?
Yeah.
You promise?
Sure.
All right. Everybody, until next month, enjoy the music. Freedom?
This has been a production of Wolfeboro Community TV, bringing your community to view.